Hi everybody, AJ here to tell you that I have a play going up right now, yes, right now, up in Portland, Maine. It's called Heart of Duckness, and it's being produced by Fox Bramble Productions under the great direction of Todd Bryan Backus. Heart of Duckness tells the story of the Berlin Conference of 1884, where all of the major powers of Europe gathered together to divide Africa amongst themselves in what I consider to be one of the greatest acts of inhumanity in the history of the world. But in this version, every character is a duck. So, if you like Animal Farm, if you like the writings of Joseph Conrad, if you like historical tragicomedies that happen to feature ducks, you are going to have a mother-plucking great time at this show. So, click the link in the description below to go get your tickets to see Heart of Duckness, running now through September 4th at Portland Stage as part of their studio series. Be there or be corkscrewed.
What?
But what's great is he plays it totally straight.
Yeah.
Like it's a very,
Well, I mean, he's not a very good actor.
You almost killed my clown.
You almost killed my clown.
I thought it was a
My
producer. I thought it was another
clown.
producer.
my
casting there.
clown.
Oh, my brand.
My clown.
My clown.
Who up killing the clown?
My clown. Ooh, who kicked me in my bearded clown?
Oh, my clown.
Oh, who wants some clown?
Oh,
Stop.
I'm gonna clown.
You want me to give you some clown?
Oh, yeah, clown on
Oh,
me.
it's clown time in the neighborhood.
Are you recording this?
Who wants clown?
Are you recording
yes.
this?
My flower's gonna squirt.
Stop it.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the Worst of All Possible Worlds, the first and only podcast to clown. I'm the worst of all possible Brians.
I am the worst of all possible AJs.
I'm the worst of all possible Joshes, and I'm gonna clown. We're back.
Holy shit,
boy,
I'm
are
gonna
we back
clown.
for yet another installment of Whit's Endless Summer, the ongoing sub-series of the Worst of All Possible Worlds, where we listen to episodes of Adventures in Odyssey, the long-running children's radio drama produced by Focus on the Family. This episode continues where we left off the last time around. We were talking a bit about some of the difficulties that John Avery Whittaker, the protagonist of this show, was having
and reality.
with adapting Whit's End, his establishment, to the demands of the modern age.
The story so far with Novacom. Tom Riley
Yes.
opened the Timothy Center
He did.
on his farmland because an angel told him to do it. This has become a retreat center where we send inner city kids, like a young man named Tony. Tony is from a place called Oswald Heights, which is a rough and tumble neighborhood in the nearby city of Connellsville.
Named after the penguin.
The Timothy Center, however, has fallen on some hard times.
They were trying to bring in lots of different kinds of groups to the Timothy Center.
And they keep canceling.
That's right, because these are like church groups and shit. They
and
keep
clown
canceling.
ministries.
And they've
Please
had
don't tell me
some
that's real.
They've had some
It's real.
success. I need to talk. they need to bring in groups from the nearby city of Connellsville. That's a frequent thing that happens at the Timothy
That's
Center.
basically the only
Reliable
regular guest that they have, and that
constituency,
probably
yeah.
just comes from the city of Connellsville, and we know that paying for things with taxes is bad.
Right. Well,
Yes.
and part of the problem, too, is that the people of Connellsville, they don't have the same spending power as the people of Odyssey.
Yeah, and art is imitating life here as well because Focus on the Family is trying to broaden the umbrella of who listens to Adventures in Odyssey.
Yeah, who lives, who dies, who listens to Adventures in Odyssey.
That's
right. And so Tom has been able to lease some of his land for a little radio tower for a new company called Novacom that set up a headquarters at an old former hotel in town. Everybody's point of contact for Novacom is a representative named Arthur Dent. This company, Novacom, it's brand new, but it's pursuing an aggressive and diverse multimedia footprint, internet, television, probably some other
A
stuff.
secret third thing,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Plays?
Theatrical licensing.
It's taking over the Harlequin. Oh,
yeah,
no.
they're doing the Amazon thing where they buy a downtown theater and just use it for audiobooks.
How many adaptations of Chekhov can Michael Emerson be in?
We're going to find out together.
Put him in more. I love him.
Two kids, Alex Jefferson and Cal Jordan, they saw Eugene, recurring character Eugene, a former employee at Whit's End, at the community college for the first time in ages. And he ducked into a dark hallway before they could reach him. But later...
They just barely missed him.
Yes.
He would have talked into the microphone, but he just missed.
Later on, those same kids were contacted I think the very same day, on AIM or whatever,
Yes.
by a hacker named Aram with an M.
Aram.
Aram gives these kids a password to access a staff-only part of the Campbell County Community College internal network, which leads them to come across something regarding a brainwave study that maybe Eugene was working on, and then the computer crashes. The boys get caught hacking, the police get on them, they do a classic, like, keep him on the line to trace him with instant messenger. His IP gets traced back to a weird attachment on a modem in Whit's office at Whit's Ice Cream and Discovery Emporium, Whit's End.
The internet is coming from inside the Whit.
A big entertainment studio along with a children's entertainment division. They open up a new building and everyone gets very mad and they throw a rock at Whit and he gets hit in the head with a rock. He just happened to be there. It wasn't because of him. Although it was kind of because he instigated it. Either way, Novacom is producing a lot of, bad TV.
You know what I say? I say talk Whit, get hit.
That's what they'd say on these bad TV
They would.
shows.
They're very corrosive to your morals, these TV shows.
They show cleavage. They say bad words. People get hit with rocks. Novacom also establishes Zoog Novacom, a Web 1.0 thing where the kids can hang out, use forums, and fiddle with little JavaScript doodads. And the boys are working at Novacom, those previous boys that talked to Aram, and they are working for Novacom as unpaid employees.
Yeah, so it's like Novacom has basically brought back the concept of Blackguard's Castle from...
Yes, because in addition to having an IT department staffed entirely by children, there is also a video arcade,
That's right.
Disney Quest style.
Yep.
And all of the kids there have made good friends with the wage slave manager that works there.
Who knows everything about what's going
He's
on
like
in their
honestly
lives.
better than Whit.
Yes.
But while the boys are working at Novacom, not playing, while they're working in the IT department that is staffed entirely by children, Aram contacts them on Instant Messenger once again and tells them, hey, enter this password in this corner of the website. And then they enter the password and they say, ooh, it's the same brainwave study. We're looking at the same PDF. How about that? Computer crashes, they get fired. So after Novacom has built their own Disney Quest and everything, Whit's like, I gotta stand up against these shows where people are getting rocks thrown at them.
Yeah.
Right? Because that happened to me.
Especially the ones where I'm having rocks thrown.
The
at me.
only show with cleavage around here is Adventures in Odyssey.
He decides to make Whit's End into an arcade without a climbing wall. And every kid loves it, and they get to order all their food from iPads. And then an old lady named Mary Hopkins, who has the same voice actor as Whit's dead wife, she comes in and she's like, what happened to the old ice cream parlor that I loved so dearly back when I saw it some time ago? You didn't see me then.
And Whit goes, oh.
So her name is Mary Hopkins, and she runs a successful chain of bookstores, like Schuler Books or something along those lines. And she's like,
Thanks for the Grand Rapids
she's like,
reference.
focus on the family. Why don't you build a bookstore in my town, Holland, Michigan? I'm sorry, Whit's End in Connellsville.
Oh, no, you're right.
Except-
she is just Elsa Prince. What the fuck?
Let's go.
And they didn't even build the Holland Focus on the Family store for like 20 more years after
Right.
this. Anyway, that happens. And so now Whit is like focused in.
On
And
the
he's-
family, yes.
He is going to make the new Whit's End in Connellsville just like the old one. A complete carbon copy. And that's where we find ourselves now in today's episode of Whit's Endless Summer.
Now, chronologically speaking, the last episodes that we listened to originally aired in February of 2001.
Yes.
The episodes that we're covering this time around originally aired in April and May of 2001. I wanted to give us a quick rundown of what else is going on in the world around this time.
Yes, please.
Yes.
April
history-
and May of 2001.
History has not yet ended.
No. Well, yeah, it did.
It did, but then it stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It stopped ending.
So on the first day of April 2001, Slobodan Milosevic surrenders to Serbian police in Belgrade on charges of war crimes.
That really explains the episodes we're about to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're just
It changes all of it, really.
Yeah, it's all about Kosovo, the whole thing. The Netherlands in April begins officiating same-sex marriages. They're the first country in the world to do it.
Hey, gotta hand it to the Dutch.
Same-sex marriage is now a concept that legally exists in the world. This is a big deal. The producers opens at the St. James Theater on Broadway. Other stuff going on culturally here. Fatboy Slim releases Weapon of Choice. A very old John Paul II visits Damascus, and he stopped by the Umayyad Mosque. And this actually makes him the first pope to ever enter a mosque.
So he was the origin of the Pope walks into a mosque joke.
I guess so. How does that joke go?
So a Pope walks into a mosque.
Right.
Yeah. And his name is John Paul II.
And?
That's the joke.
Well, that's not much of a joke at all.
I feel like maybe I'm just clowning around.
A clown would finish the joke.
The other big thing that happens in May of 2001, Shrek is released to movie theaters.
This is coming out at the same time as Shrek. What wonders
Isn't
await
that crazy? Now, Dr. Dobson, as I think we're going to be talking about as well in future episodes of Whit's Endless Summer, he had this newsletter that he would publish every month.
Yeah.
He's thrilled about George W. Bush's presidency so far. He thinks he's doing a great job.
He's watching this drive.
Yeah. And Dobson's May newsletter is labeled on the envelope. There's writing on it that says that this is the most important letter that Dobson has written in the 24-year history of Focus on the Family.
Oh, classic shit.
Now, Dobson had Bruce Wilkinson on the show, the author of The Prayer of Jabez.
Yeah, he was in Die Hard, too.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
The Prayer of fucking Jabez. You don't know shit about this, AJ, but
He
this
had
was
to
a...
abbreviate his name. He had to change his name to Willis because there was already a Bruce Wilkinson in SAG.
No, but the fucking the Prayer of Jabez shit is a cultural moment.
You talk
It's
about
one of-
this a lot.
It's this highly branded little thing from the Bible. This guy made it a cottage industry.
Yeah.
Because the Prayer of Jabez is like 3 lines long.
It's 3 verses from the Bible where this guy named Jabez is like, God, please give me some cool shit.
The Bible tells us 2 things about Jabez. One, that his name means that his mom was in a lot of pain giving birth to him. It's kind of a mean thing for his mom to do, honestly. A little bit narcissistic, if you ask me. Second thing, that he was like, Lord, please enlarge my border.
That's right.
I'm sorry?
Enlarge his border.
Yeah. I want you to enlarge my border.
That's pretty personal, Brian.
But like he did like a yearly devotional where each day you meditate on another aspect of enlarging your border.
Right.
Okay.
There was a tearaway calendar.
And this ends up also being directly tied in with the sort of prosperity gospel stuff. The idea
okay,
that
sure.
like as long as you pray hard enough and as long as you're good enough of a Christian, you will be rewarded with material wealth. Now, this episode of Focus on the Family, Wilkinson tells Dobson, I think that you could enlarge the border of Focus on the Family. I think that you could
God.
totally do it.
Fuck.
And I think these episodes were written a few months earlier, but like
It's interesting,
it's so
though.
relevant.
Because
Yeah.
obviously this was what the zeitgeist was. That Dobson then on this episode was told by Bruce Wilkinson, you should enlarge your borders, and I think this would be a great time to do it. And Dobson, being the most flatterable man in the world, was like, I think that's such a great idea.
What I see when I go through the history of this show is like, yes, we've talked about how like 2008 was a specific flashpoint where it's like the show is done. The show writers knew that the show was like going downhill and that they were going to have to end it in the next couple of years in the late 2000s because Dobson has taken this moment where his guy, George W., is in the White House and he's running with it. He is pushing this all towards political operation over everything else. They're abandoning the media properties almost entirely.
And to be clear, when you say the show in this context, you're referring to Focus on the Family Radio.
No, I'm referring to Adventures in Odyssey.
Oh.
Adventures in Odyssey preparing for the end of things
see.
and setting a lot of things up and writing a Goodbye Eugene episode that they didn't air. And,
And
like all
this was in the
other
late
stuff.
2000s. This was not
This
during
was
Novacom.
basically, I think it defines the period after Novacom.
Okay.
From Novacom, so like from like 2002 to 2008, there seems to be like the revenue for Focus on the Family, if I'm remembering correctly from their tax documents, it goes up and then it starts going down because Dobson becomes too toxic personality.
Right. His personal brand becomes too toxic. And of course, that eventually is why Dobson will have to be forced out. But that is not the case at this point in time. In 2001,
His border is enlarging.
His border's enlarging. George W. Bush is president of the United States. Focus on the Family is looking to make big moves.
The prayer of Jabez has again elicited that sense of urgency in my heart. It is my great desire to introduce more people to scriptural principles of child rearing and family living, but especially to reach those who have no knowledge of Jesus Christ. Ministering to families opens the door to the creator, capital C, of the family. Given the intensity of that mission, I am convinced that the Lord would have us think bigger not smaller, at this stage of our history. Therefore, our U.S. executive team, consisting of 16 vice presidents and 3 executive vice presidents.
What is this? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Met for a retreat a few days ago to clarify what we believe God is calling us to do. So these are all vice presidents and executive vice presidents of Focus on the Family.
They all had one big retreat. They all came in with everything for a huge party.
Yeah. We began with a season of prayer and scripture reading, which led to a wonderful sense of oneness and unity.
They were sucking and fucking.
Yeah, they also became Buddhist.
Whoa.
They have achieved nirvana.
Sure.
Because this is also interesting because this is a retreat, the same as the one that led to their media endeavors, including Adventures in Odyssey and McGee and Me and everything.
And this is actually I cut off.
Yeah.
Like, this is excerpted down from the original thing. In the bigger thing, he talks about how like during that recording with Bruce Wilkinson, everybody felt like the Spirit of God had descended upon the studio and they were all in religious ecstasy or whatever.
And he wasn't wearing shoes. He had to feel the carpet under his feet.
And then Reginald Vell Johnson shows up with his gun.
We'd love to see it. Family matters. That's why we're focusing on it.
That's right, Mr. Ditty. Family does matter. Here is the direction we now feel led to pursue in keeping with the wishes of our board of directors. If the Lord is truly in this initiative, and if his people send the resources to make it possible,
There you go.
Focus on the Family will be expanded to reach not only the remaining nations of the world, but also 3 other constituencies domestically. They are the very young family,
Toddlers.
many of whom don't know about Focus on the Family. We ask for your help in telling them we are here.
We are going to put babies in fedoras, give them little briefcases. They will be the youngest families you've ever seen.
There are the families that are being made up of little boss babies and housewife babies. They're having babies of their own. Well, so thankfully this doesn't work especially well. Minority families.
There you go.
Emphasizing ministry efforts that reflect our ethnic diversity.
Yeah, that's super
They've gone
duper.
woke.
That super duper did not happen.
No.
Did we see anybody who wasn't white when we went to Focus on the Family for that Adventures in Odyssey thing?
Yeah, I think there were a couple families.
Really? Do we count Mennonites as white? They're sort of like a, distinct ethnic religious...
Like an eggshell.
And then the third is the internet family, consisting of those who have questions and needs that are not being met.
What is that? What is that?
What is an
mean?
internet family?
Well, he continues in this newsletter to
Is that like guys with waifus?
No, he basically is just talking about how they need to pivot to a primarily digital strategy in the future.
I
He can
see.
already see where
Families
things
with
are
internet.
going. He's
Yeah.
seeing that there are fewer phone calls coming in and fewer physical letters coming in.
radio listeners.
Fewer radio listeners, but way more emails, way more contacts through the online form.
Everyone's on Zoog Disney.
That's right.
I remember that the Adventures in Odyssey website, which I think was just called witsend.org,
Oh, wow.
was pretty on top of it, and it even had a few games. It had a kind of, I'm still kind of in the Dobson cadence. It even had a few games.
Yeah.
It had this sort of diner dash thing where you're Connie running the ice cream stand. I tried to see if there was a playable version on the Internet Archive. There isn't.
No.
And then there were like a couple little trivia games from what I remember. Josh, you never played these games.
No.
In fact, the first time I think I ever streamed anything from the internet was the 500th episode of Adventures in Odyssey, which came out in 2001 or 2002.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was literally there physically in person.
Wow.
Let's go. So,
Holy
that's
shit.
the live show, just like with the 1000th
Yeah,
episode, it was a little bit
okay,
separate.
Fine. You want to split hairs?
You were
but-
there for the 25th anniversary of Focus on the
Yeah,
Family.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there for the tribute. It was
Yeah.
not the greatest song.
Yes.
It was the tribute.
Well, because the 500th episode was not a regular episode either. It was just a
Right.
behind-the-scenes documentary.
But my point here with like pulling this letter, as so often happens, it's like everything that is subtext in here
Yep.
is just text in these episodes of Adventures in Odyssey.
Which
it's
is-
so
yeah.
clear that Dobson's own priorities and brainworms are trickling down to everybody else in the organization, which makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose, but I always thought that like Dobson didn't like have as much control over Novacom
Well,
by
he
this
doesn't.
point.
He
Yeah.
doesn't.
No.
He's not saying you need to write these episodes.
Yeah, he's not
Sure.
coming in and say, you need to get rid of the cop character. You need to do an episode on Dungeons & Dragons and have me introduce it. No,
Right.
he's actually a lot more hands-off.
Right.
Because they made a deliberate split when they were making the gay episode, where Chuck Bolte, who's also the voice of George Barkley, came in and was like, hey, policy department, we're going to try to do this a different way because Odyssey is about outreach.
Right.
It's about getting people in who are like, I like this radio show. I'll order something off of a catalog and then give them my information so then I get the mailers later.
Yeah.
As opposed to something that's just delivering the message. But all of these people who are working on Adventures in Odyssey work at Focus on the Family, so they're writing what they know.
And the priorities of leadership as communicated within an organization will invariably affect how you think, just straight up. That's why we all have a little bit of Donald Trump in our brain as Americans, and also...
Well, because you work in the White House.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those articles about Josh, you following him around?
Yeah.
Those stuff
You
really
wrote him
got
all
your
those
ass.
letters. You were sleeping in that country club.
I know, it was a tough time, but I'm glad I'm finally getting the attention I deserve.
Thank God. So
Your hair looks gorgeous.
Thank you.
This picture,
fabulous.
by the way. Yeah.
So I have a question about this first batch of episodes that we're covering today, because it's a two-parter, and it really deserves to be. But it's called Chains?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm not sure.
Marley and Marley.
Whoa!
Yeah.
No. Okay. So this is all I could think of.
Yeah.
They're writing an episode that is about reaching inner city youth in quotations, and you call it Chains?
Yeah.
About how gentrification is good, actually?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that they're being a little cerebral with it, where there's like the chains of poverty.
I think that's what they're going
and also,
for.
but I think the historical aspect is there too, and we have the chains of not knowing Christ.
True.
Although that doesn't really come up here.
No,
not
we don't
directly.
particularly proselytize.
This is mostly about Whit and all of his trials and tribulations of just trying to buy this building from this community.
Trying to get a private business up and running, a thing that is designed to make profit.
And how hard it is for Whit that people don't just reflexively assume that he is acting in good faith.
Yeah. So these episode Chains, parts 1 and 2, are episodes 468 and 469.
Written and directed by Marshall Younger. First airing on April 28th and May 5th, respectively, of 2001.
Remember, the 5th of May.
Chains. So this episode kicks off with Tom Riley getting caught up with Whit. He wants to know what's going on because, as we'll remember, Whit's trying to spin up a new location of Whit's End.
A sister location
in Connellsville, the larger urban metropolis that Odyssey is sort of like an outer exurb of.
Yeah, it seems like it's about a 20-minute drive between Odyssey and Connellsville.
Yeah, probably-ish, or maybe a half hour. And Whit has blueprints. He's going through some blueprints about what the new place is going to look like. It looks very similar to the one in Odyssey. But Tom, well, he's a bit skeptical. First of all, he's not so sure that Connellsville kids are going to go for it just in general.
Yeah, because he has experience with the kids in Connellsville specifically, but he's also more concerned that it's preaching to the choir.
Right.
Well, this is a nice suburban area.
I know. Mary says there are a lot of churches and Christian organizations around, too. It should get a lot of support from the community. Why?
Maybe it's because of the people that come to the Timothy Center. But lately I've had such a heart for the kids in Oswald Heights. I know how much they need a place like Whit's End. I kind of wish it could have gone there.
Well, I can certainly see your point, Tom, but I am dealing with business people. I doubt any of them would want to build it in Oswald Heights.
Yeah, I suppose.
The location is not carved in stone.
It's not?
Well, no. This is just a proposed site.
It just seems to me that the reason you did this was to reach more people. This would be your chance to connect with some that have hardly even heard the name of Jesus. I know a few of these kids, and they are tough, but they're reachable.
I'm so baffled by this.
Well, okay,
kids
so
in the
let's-
inner city haven't heard of Jesus?
What are you talking about?
Let's put it in Chicago terms, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Whit's looking to build Whit's End 2 in Evanston.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Tom Riley said, you got to go build that shit in Calumet.
Or if we're putting it in LA terms,
I'm going to build it in Downey.
I'm going to build it in Downey. And he's like, no, Compton.
Yeah,
Part of
yeah.
Put it in
fucking
Compton.
Compton.
Yeah.
And then again, these people in the inner city haven't heard of Jesus? Are you fucking kidding me?
What do you think is happening in the inner city? Like,
This is so telling as to the perspective of
Yeah.
focus on the family as an organization.
Yes.
And this is something that I also remember from growing up in a white church that was located in a predominantly black neighborhood.
Oh.
The idea wasn't necessarily that these kids had never heard the name Jesus Christ. I mean, that for some reason, that seems to be the angle they're taking here, which
I
is
have a theory about that
bizarre.
we'll unpack
They're
after
really
this.
bringing like the mission field idea to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The idea here is that although some of these are people who may have heard the name or the general gist of it, they haven't been shown true Christianity.
Well, Oswald Heights is really just a neighborhood of Zoroastrians.
Okay.
So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they don't really know about the whole Jesus part of things.
Yeah, I think
It's Freddie Mercury and his family. He grew up Zoroastrian.
Did he really?
Yeah.
We talked about this before when we talk about Odyssey, which is like if people act poorly, it's just because they haven't heard the word of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
People can't behave poorly once they hear the word of Jesus and
Right.
accept him into their hearts, right? And it also allows them to sort of steer past all of the economic pressures that might actually cause some of the behavior that
Yeah.
they view as, delinquent.
Yeah. Just to jump ahead for a second here, the people of Oswald Heights seem pretty okay.
Yeah.
Like they oppose the building of the new Whit's End and everything, but they don't throw a fucking rock at Whit. Who does that?
Odysseans.
The white evangelical Christians of Odyssey.
Yes. Are the much more violent mob. This one just has a very raucous town hall meeting, I guess.
They're like, you're a jerk.
This episode ends up being about the importance of attending your community board meetings.
Yeah, it really
Yes.
does. Because a gentrifier might come in and try and take your fucking building. Because he's eyeing an old, rundown building in Oswald Heights.
Well,
right?
Whit has brought the concerns to Mary after he talked with Tom.
Yeah, we have one of those things where it's an identical conversation.
Right.
But now Whit is the Tom and Mary is the Whit.
But Whit's like, you know what? We got to do this. We got to go into Oswald Heights. It really matters to me. Can you make a case to the board? Mary's like, I don't know. And it ends up being okay. And they end up approving a plan to take over what I think is a private building. I don't think this is a government.
It's like an
plot.
abandoned, derelict building.
Right.
Of some kind. Maybe a hotel.
Not that it really matters, but there. Before we get there are a few interesting little notes about Connie and Mitch. I didn't mention him in my little rundown, but there's a guy named Mitch who's supposed to help handle things PR-wise. Yeah, he brings tapes to Whit. So Connie has fallen in love with Mitch.
That's right.
And she's also learning how to use the computer, and we get this extremely 2001 scene.
Let's do
where
it.
Connie is sexting Mitch while having a conversation with Whit.
Connie, I need to talk to you about something.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Oh, Mitch and I are chatting online.
Well, I'll just come back a little later then.
No, that's okay. I can listen and type at the same time.
All right. You see, I'm trying to convince Mary to move the new Connellsville shop to Oswald Heights.
Oswald Heights?
Yeah?
That's kind of risky, isn't it? Ooh, I don't know.
Well, it may not work out at all now. The board may pull the plug on the whole thing.
I'm sorry. Mitch just typed something funny.
Connie, you're spelling coming wrong.
That's a great delivery by Katie Lee there, by the way. That's
Yes.
such a genuine,
I'm not paying attention to you. Yeah.
Oswald Heights, I don't know.
But Mitch, as we'll also recall, has a connection to Novacom. He's like their community liaison.
Yeah, because Whit is also the reason that the rock got thrown at him.
Right.
Because he was like, Novacom's bad and they have cleavage on their TV shows.
Whit talked shit and got
And
hit
so people were
by a rock.
protesting, and then Whit walked by and he's like, well, people can't protest. That's wrong. So he stands up and he's like, don't protest. And one guy's like, fuck you, bitch, I already got my rock.
That man, Brian Alford.
And one of the things that Mitch has been doing as community liaison is trying to get Whit on side with Novacom's programming.
Yeah, so he brings Whit a tape.
Mitch mentioned earlier that he wanted to talk to you.
Oh.
You want to chat with him?
Well, about what?
Devil in White.
What's that?
You haven't heard of it? It's a new Novacom show. It's got some problems.
Well, tell him I haven't seen the show, but I'll look into it.
Okay.
I must say, I haven't seen this family programming they said they were going to have. All that I've seen so far has been unashamed immorality and mindless violence.
So many possible.
Hey there, you are listening to a preview of a premium episode of The Worst of All Possible Worlds. If you'd like to listen to the rest of this, head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/worstofall. And you can listen to not only the rest of this episode, but our entire backlog of premium episodes, bonus episodes, and if you subscribe at the $10 tier, you will get an extra episode of the podcast every single month. Again, that is patreon.com/worstofall. Hope to see you there.